everybody, and welcome to Life Chats with Maggie and Bunny. I'm Maggie.
And I'm Bunny.
So, today we want to talk to you about listening to your body.
Hmm.
Do you listen to your body? What does it say to you? How does it say it? So many ways we can talk about this.
Hmm.
So, Bunny, when we say listening to your body, what's it say to you?
Well, of course, this is like the things about listening to the signals of your body. Like if you're tired, go to sleep. If you're hungry, eat some food. If if you if you don't want to do something, if you feel resistant to going somewhere,
Yep,
maybe don't go. And I know that, sometimes, especially being, an entrepreneur and getting to make my decisions on when I work and what work I take and that kind of thing, there will be people out there who work traditional or conventional jobs who have family and responsibilities and stuff, and they're like, but I can't do that. Right? And it's
right.
like there is still time that you can listen to your body in specific ways. I do know that sometimes, people talk about self-care being part of self-love, and very often people will say things like, get your hair done, go to the spa, get your nails done. But self-care can be like, take a walk
Yep.
or take a nap. Right?
Have a cup of tea,
Yeah, like there's a whole
turn your
bunch of
phone
different things.
off.
Yeah, exactly. Do that. So those kind of things. I know I have you talk about turn phone off, and I have a personal boundary which it does have to deal with my phone, where my phone does not make any noise except for if my children call me. That's the only noise that it makes. Anytime, night or day, doesn't matter. And I know that before I had cell phones, I used to keep a phone, like we had cordless phones and stuff, was downstairs. It never came to my room. And it was because sleep was important, so not being interrupted when I was
Yep.
sleeping was very important to me. So
Yeah.
that
And
kind of
I
stuff.
know for me, for example, as somebody who does experience anxiety disorders,
Hmm.
I have to listen to my body
Right.
because if I ignore the signals that my body gives me, I can pretty much be sure I'm going to suffer from some anxiety
Hmm.
because part of keeping that anxiety under control is listening to what my body needs and not overdoing it and giving myself time off when I need time off,
Hmm.
not taking on things and saying yes when I really want to say no.
Right.
We sometimes in our society feel pressure to say yes.
Hmm.
And I say to people all the time, you can say no.
Right.
It doesn't make you a bad person to say no, I can't help you.
Right.
Because sometimes helping somebody when or saying yes when you really should say no is detrimental to you and to another person.
Right.
You're not necessarily doing yourself a favor or them
Yeah.
by saying yes. So I've learned over the years to listen to my body and
Hmm.
let yes be yes and no be no.
Yeah.
And sometimes yes turns into no.
Right. Exactly.
If,
We've talked about that before.
yeah, because I very much listen to my intuition.
Hmm.
And especially since our experience with COVID,
Hmm.
I've listened to my intuition. And if my intuition says, not today,
Right.
I don't do it today. And for all those people who are not just listening, but seeing, you'll notice that today I really didn't do my hair because my body said no.
Right.
My body said, it's a sweatshirt and messy hair kind of day. You don't have anywhere to go except when I went to the gym this morning,
Yeah.
and they don't care what I look like there.
Hmm.
So I listened. My
Hmm.
body said no. So I listened. I have
Right.
no makeup on. I have no hair done. I have a baggy sweatshirt, and that's okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the stuff too, is like even needing to do your hair or putting on makeup or not just wear a comfortable sweatshirt that you want to wear. Those are because of the conditioning and programming that we have of what is presentable and how we're supposed to look. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it doesn't help. I remember there was a time where I used to wear makeup on not a lot of makeup, but I used to wear makeup on a consistent basis. And one day I didn't feel up to it. And so I didn't put it on. And I can't remember if it was because I was too busy and I didn't have time. I don't remember exactly that, but I do remember the reaction of going to work and people asking me if I was okay. Are you okay? Are you sick? And I was like, no. Like I'm okay. And it was purely because the I didn't have makeup on. So it kind of like I took the choice then to like be like, I'm just not gonna wear makeup any day unless I want to, unless I want to make it a little bit special because
Yeah.
I didn't want to have that reaction and that pressure of like having to wear it all the time because then people would make a decision that there was something wrong because I wasn't wearing it. And so there was that. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about wearing makeup.
Yeah.
People like people absolutely like makeup is fun and it can be creative and if you enjoy it, then
Yeah.
do it, right? And so that's like you said, listening to your body.
But don't
And
get yourself into the have to
right, exactly.
or should stage.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And I
Yeah.
do talking about conditioning and programming, I do know like there are things they talk a lot about traumas and stuff that happen before we're 8 years old. And in this case, it's not a trauma, but it's a conditioning that happens to us when we start going to school. And I said that I've told my sister and other people that this is like kind of where it starts, where we stop listening to our body because school tells us when we have to wake up, what time we have to be there, when we can go to the bathroom, when we eat, like
Hmm.
all of those kind of things. So like there are times where I know myself, even having sent my children to school and having other people who, other moms, is there are times where the kids don't want to eat at that time, or they're hungry at 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
instead of at 10, whatever. Like, so it is kind of like a thing. And then, yes, it does prepare us for when we go to the real world or to the corporate world where
Yeah.
where we would have to wait till our breaks to eat or go to the bathroom or anything like that. But it is like, so it is conditioning to do that. But it is funny how when you get outside of the traditional conventional jobs, or even the people who are, higher ups, maybe like CEOs and stuff, like they can go off and take a lunch whatever time, or
Yeah.
go golfing or whatever. And so having that kind of freedom, once you are outside of that system that is telling you what time to eat, what time to go to the bathroom, you do get to be more free with
Yeah.
that.
And really, why do we live in a society that tells you when you can go to the bathroom
Yes.
and when you can't?
Yeah.
Isn't your body supposed to do that?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
is like, I think I would have a very difficult time if my children, when they were in school, they're adults now, but when they were in school, if they got in trouble for needing to go to the bathroom,
Right. Right.
because
Yeah,
I'm sorry, your body gets to tell you when you need to go to the bathroom. I don't
exactly.
tell my body when it needs to go to the bathroom. It tells me.
But have you ever found yourself on a trip or somewhere, with somebody or doing something, maybe working, where you're like, "Oh, like I have to go to the bathroom, but I'm just gonna get past this one thing, or I'm just gonna go to this specific place or whatever."
It's pretty much more for me anyway. It's I force myself to go to the bathroom so that
So,
I'm not going to get in an
yeah.
emergency.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
for example, if you're getting on a plane, always go
Right.
to the bathroom first
Yeah.
because I don't like going to the
I don't
bathroom on
like
a plane.
me neither.
So it's those kind of things. But
Hmm.
I do think that we need to get back to listening to our body,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, listening it to it because our body was made to function on its
Right.
own and to
Right.
tell us what we need. The same as, do we listen to our body when we start to feel ill?
Right. Yeah.
I know me, for example, if I were to be starting to get a cold or something, I always feel it first in my jaw. It's always when I know if my jaw is hurting, I'm getting some kind of germ. Like,
Mm.
it's almost like if a germ is attacking my body, it goes there first
Hmm.
and it tells me. So then I can, amp up on some vitamins, some
Yeah.
echinacea, that
Yeah.
type of thing to try to offset it.
Hmm.
And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But it's listening to your body,
Right.
to what it needs.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
how
even
it
the fact that
feels.
you know that if goes into your jaw, and I mean, for me, I'm like thinking, I'm like, oh well, maybe your jaw is just more sensitive, and so that's why you can sense it there first, and then it kind of is your warning sign or your
Yeah.
canary in the mines or whatever to let you know that there's something wrong, and
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I think it's because of the issues that I have with my gums
right,
that that's the first place infection goes in my body.
okay,
That's
yeah,
the first place that it manifests.
right,
So if I can keep that under control, then maybe it might not go somewhere else.
hmm
And but it's even, listening to your body about other things,
hmm
other types of illnesses, and I know my doctor laughs at me all the time because I'll go to him and I'll say, I think I need this because
yeah,
this is what my body feels like. He says, well, do you mind if I look?
yeah,
Because I have become, and maybe it's old age, maybe it's wisdom, who knows, which or
hmm
the other it is. But I have become very in tune to my body.
right,
So I listen to it.
hmm That is, I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that you brought up doctor because I did tell you that part of what kind of nudged me into talking about this today was something that I had heard it before, but it was brought back into my awareness, and that was about the actor Mark Ruffalo, who in 2001 was filming. It was in the last few weeks of filming a movie. I can't remember what it was called, and he had a dream that he had a brain tumor. And when he woke up, it stuck with him. And he was like, it kind of felt a little bit more than just a dream, just a normal dream. And so he went to the doctor on set and said, hey, I had this dream that I have a brain tumor. And the doctor was like, well, let's get a CT scan. And sure enough, he did have a brain tumor and was able to get it treated and everything's okay. And but he credits that with his body telling him through a dream that
Mm-hmm.
he had a brain tumor. And so like you can get messages from your body in that way as well,
Yeah.
is by having a dream. I know even I've heard other people tell of a story and then been like, "Oh, wait a second, that that sounds familiar to me." And so then you're like, "Oh, is that this or whatever?" And so like kind of looking into and listening to your body also for emotions. I think that that's another
Mm-hmm.
one too, is that in this past year I've learned that we've been trained to think our emotions as opposed to feeling them in our body. And that can actually cause our emotions to kind of get stuck in our
Right.
body. And that can cause things because emotion is energy in motion. So
Yep.
if you stop it and you keep it and hold on to it, it can actually cause us to um, like ruminate over things and have like thoughts and stories and stuff that come up, and then it causes things in our body to like not feel right, or
Mm-hmm.
even as they say disease, which is like dis-ease, so that energy getting trapped can cause things to kind of
Yep.
start happening in our body as well. So it's very important to listen and
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Because what do emotions feel like?
yeah,
Like, what does anger feel like
hmm
in my body? What does happiness feel
hmm
like in my body? Do we even know the answer to that?
a lot of us I think would say no.
No, we
And,
don't.
and one thing I learned over the last year is that anger over one thing can feel different in my body than anger in another situation. So like if a trigger comes up, I could have like clenched mouth, heaviness in my chest, and like maybe my right pinky is in pain, like some random thing like that. But then
Mm-hmm.
in the next time, I could get triggered to the point where I'm so upset and angry that like I'm shaking inside and like
Yeah.
want to scream or something like that, which looks totally different.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes just recognizing, just saying like when you are in an emotion, like you're experiencing an emotion, just connecting with the body by saying, what am I feeling? Where is there tension? Where
Yeah.
is there something vibration or something that's happening? Like,
And
is
what
your
are the
heart beating
signals
fast?
that your body is giving you?
Right.
Is it that? I know, for example, if I have too much anxiety going on around me, my shoulders come up. And then when my shoulders come up, I tense up.
Right.
And then the middle of my back will be hurting. Well, yeah, because
Hmm.
I'm tense
Yeah.
and you don't realize that,
Right.
and part of what I do is releasing your shoulders.
Yeah.
We can do simple things like that of
Yeah.
releasing it and feeling them go back down.
Hmm.
Or it could be somebody, they may get something in the pit of their stomach. They may
Right.
feel nauseous.
Yeah.
You might feel nauseous. And I deal with this all the time when I'm talking to people about who are going through grief,
Hmm.
because grief affects our body in phenomenal ways.
Right.
It, for some people, it makes them not want to eat. For other
Hmm.
people, it makes them want to eat all of the wrong things.
Yep.
For some people, they sleep too much. Some people don't sleep enough.
Right.
Some people cry a lot. Some people don't cry at all.
Hmm.
So it's learning how your body is working through that grief.
Right.
And grief is only one of those emotions that our body has to work through.
Hmm.
So, my encouragement for people today is figure out how your body talks to you and how it communicates to you.
Hmm.
How does it tell you that it's content?
Right.
Like for me, when I'm feeling contentment in my body,
Hmm.
I'm relaxed.
Yeah.
I'm still. My mind isn't going 100 miles a minute
Yes.
with things I need to do.
Hmm.
So find out how your body speaks to you.
Right.
Figure it out.
And I'll just say that and leave it open to new feelings each time, like
Yeah.
discovering new ways that your body tells, especially as you start listening to it, the body will like, what? They're listening to me? Yay! And it will start showing you even new ways
Yeah.
that it does express things. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's interesting to find out how that can be, because
Hmm.
as I tell everybody, especially when I'm talking about grief, if there are 50 people in the room, 50 people are going to experience grief
Right,
probably in a different way.
right.
So the emotions and the feelings that your body speaks to you about for every single person are going to be different.
Hmm.
And there's no right or wrong.
Right, right.
It's you taking the time to connect with your body. Some of the ways that I connect with my body is through meditation,
Hmm.
is through quietness,
Right.
through listening to music.
Hmm.
There you're going to connect with your body however it works for you.
Right.
And we know that Bunny and I listen to completely different music.
Yes.
And that's good,
Right.
because you connect in your way and I connect in my
Hmm.
way. There's no right or wrong way.
Right. Exactly.
The important thing is to connect,
Right.
because
100%.
everything that we need, our body knows how to tell us.
Yep.
Whether it's like the actor in a dream,
Yep.
whether it's just that feeling you get in
Hmm.
your gut that says, I shouldn't go out today.
Yeah.
Maybe your body is saying that to you to prevent you from being in an accident.
Right. Who knows? It could be anything, but and also like you said, I want to just kind of like reiterate there was something that came up, but it's coming up again, is that no is a full sentence or I don't want to anymore or whatever. You don't need to have a good reason. I know that sometimes people do that. They're like, "Oh, I'm not going to come today because I'm feeling a little tired." You don't need to explain. You don't, there's no there's nothing necessary. If you want, you could just say my body, I feel resistance in my body. Don't know what it is,
Yep.
but I feel resistance. So I know that you and we talk about that all the time. We make plans, and even if we make plans, like say we said we're gonna go out Thursday for lunch, we also know it's open to either of us going, I no longer feel like doing it today. And we'd be like, okay, and we both
Yeah.
give ourselves that because we don't want either one of us to do something grudgingly and like being like because it does can cause resistance and
Yeah.
resentment in your body and in your relationships and stuff too when you're doing things that you don't really want to do.
Yeah.
It can cause things in your relationships. And so it's like, you know what? It's better to be like, and yes, I understand. I know I lived my life trying so hard to make sure I kept my kids from disappointment and that there was gonna, but they still get disappointed in life. And
Yep.
you know what? If you try, even when you do have young kids, and this is for the parents out there who are raising their kids, when you try to shelter them from certain feelings, you're actually robbing them of the ability to learn how to cope with those feelings and to feel those feelings and
Hmm.
deal with those feelings in the way that they want to before they're adults and then start because you're not going to keep them from disappointment forever. You're not going to keep them from sadness or grief or anything forever.
Yep.
They're going to feel that at some point in their life. And why not let them feel it when they're young, when the things that they feel it over, you can support them with, and that they can learn from
Yep.
smaller things in that way. So,
I know. And because I know, even for example, with my own 3-year-old grandson,
hmm
the other day he wanted to see the moon.
mm,
He he was on a video call with me, and he wanted to look outside and see the moon. Well, there was no moon out there for him to
hmm
see, whether it was because where they're situated, whether it was because of the clouds. He
hmm
couldn't see the moon, and he started to cry, and he said, I miss the moon. I want to see the moon.
yeah,
And I just said to him, are you sad? Are
yeah,
you sad that you can't see the moon?
yeah,
Because, you know, it's not my place to say that he can't be sad because he can't see
yeah,
the moon, or that's not a good reason to be crying.
right,
He was
exactly.
crying
Yeah,
because he wanted to see the moon.
right.
Allow him that sadness,
hmm
and you'll see the moon another day.
Yeah,
But don't say you can't be sad because of that.
right,
And I think that's where, over time, a lot of us have been told you can't feel your feelings.
right.
You're not allowed.
hmm
Where even in the job force and in the workplace,
hmm
if people were allowed to feel their feelings, they would be much more productive workers.
Right. Yeah.
I
100%.
know in Ontario, for example, you're allowed, I believe it's 12 mental health days.
hmm
If people were to take advantage of those, they would be more productive
Right.
workers. But
Absolutely.
a lot of people, even though the government allows it and your employer is not allowed to ask you why
hmm
you need to take one, a lot of people don't take them because
Right.
they think, oh no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you
And
should, not just can, but you should.
yes.
Yeah.
And, I think it's because we've told ourselves for so long we can't listen to our body and we can't
hmm
listen to our feelings. And we can.
Right.
And your body is the number one information highway.
Yep. Yep. It's like how many of us are like if you own a car and all of the lights are on the dash telling you that there's problems, you wouldn't keep driving. But
Yeah.
like our bodies are like the car for our soul, and it's got all the lights on and we just keep pushing and ignoring that. And
Yeah.
so sometimes you ignore it so much, and this is another thing too, you talk about a little bit of sickness. Sometimes you ignore it so much and your body shuts down. And for a while, some people wind up in the hospital. And I'm not
Yep.
saying it's like it's we're not doing like victim or perpetrate like whatever. We're not blaming anybody for this.
Right.
We're just saying that sometimes if you don't listen to your body enough, you will wind up
It will
shutting
make you
down.
listen.
Yeah. And then you have to listen.
Yeah.
So, you might as well take care of it the best you can. That's all we're saying, the best you can, and listen to it. I know for sure, I'm going to say this. I have regretted naps not taken, never regretted a nap I took. Like I'll tell you that. So, because I can tell you when my kids were little, I very much was like, tried to, like, I was like, I can't take naps. I have so much stuff to do. And then I would regret because like if I had that time where my body was like, you need to take a nap. Wasn't every day, but sometimes it'd be like, oh, you need to take a nap. And I was like, nah, if I take a nap now, I'll be up like late or whatever. And then I didn't take a nap. And then that was the night my kid was teething and was up all night. And I was so tired. So I'm like, oh man, I really should have taken that nap because then,
Yeah.
I'd feel more refreshed because I do know too that if my body is drained and run down, my emotions are going to be even easier to like I'm going to be quicker to get anger. I'm not going to be able to handle things the way that I normally would handle them
Right.
because my body is already upset. So that's
Right.
another way.
So, for our listeners out there, if you're having difficulty allowing your emotions
Hmm.
or figuring out how your body speaks to you can reach out to us.
Yep.
You can reach out to us and we'll give you some guidance in that area. We have services that we provide. So
Hmm.
if you need help with that, Bunny's going to tell you how to get a hold of us.
Yeah, so you can reach out on our website. You could go to ataboveandbeyond.com or email us at ataboveandbeyond@gmail.com. Also go to our Facebook page. You can even message us on Messenger as well. So it's At
Yeah.
Above and Beyond.
We
That's
would love to hear how you take care of your body and how your body speaks to you.
absolutely.
So anytime, reach out.
Bye for
Have a
now.
great day, everybody. Bye.